11 years. 11 years 343 Industries has been in charge of the Halo franchise. And time again and again, we continue to try and be a part of this franchise and try to have at least a little bit of hope or faith or maybe even a little bit of enjoyment that this franchise might be enjoyable, right? But time and time again, it falls flat on its face. And you see it constantly. It started all the way back in 2012 when Halo 4 came out. It then continued on into 2014 with the Master Chief Collection, which was one of the biggest blunders in gaming history. Then 2015 with, you know it, Halo 5 Guardians, which turned the entire franchise on its head and had a lack of content, which we've seen this trend continue on about 6 years later with Halo Infinite, which is even worse when it comes to content. But my question is, why do we keep coming back? This franchise is now over 20 years old as of last year. It is over 20 years old. And with that, there's a lot of things about it that we've loved and adored and we keep coming back for, but then we continue to see this fall flat on its face. We continue to see promises being made and then being redacted on. We keep seeing tons of issues pop up and we see a lot of fake people in the community. We see a lot of people that one day will be criticizing 343 and then the next will be making any excuse or defense force that they can for this franchise and for this company when they don't deserve it, when they haven't earned it. And then you've got people like myself, where I've been a fan of this franchise for nearly 20 years. I actually started playing in 2003 when I first played Halo CE, and then a year later starting with Halo 2. I have been in part of this franchise from almost the very beginning, but I've always cared about it. And even whenever I've said that I've been done, even when I've said I'm gonna walk away, even when I've said that I'm moving on, I can't. And that's the thing that drives me nuts. That's the thing that in my brain I can't understand, and I actually need to ask this question to a few of my fellow content creators, because for as much as Halo Infinite frustrates me, angers me, and makes me just hate Halo, the series, the franchise, and this studio that call themselves the people behind Halo, I keep coming back. I think there's a number of reasons for that, which I'll get into in a little bit, but I did ask this question to a few of my other friends. You know them well. They are friends of the channel. You have Scrubsy, the good old Aussie boy himself, and then you've got the one and only Pop Q2, aka Bring Back Halo. And I asked them this question exactly. After nearly 11 years of 343 continuing to fail over and over again with Halo, why do you keep coming back? This is what they had to say.
So for me, I don't look at Halo as a game I keep coming back to because I never really left. Like, I never really said to myself, I'm done with Halo, I don't want to play it anymore, I'm moving on. And then at some point, for whatever reason, I find myself coming back to the game. No, that's never really been the case. I've always loved Halo, and it's always been my main game since I started playing it way back when. Now, I'm not a fan of every Halo game, and those Halo games that I dislike, I never felt the urge to go back and play them again, like Halo 4 and Halo 5. I may have revisited them a few times just for the hell of it, but other than that, I quit those games and I never looked back. But the Halo games that I love, I've always loved. I never stopped loving those games. And the reason I've stuck with those games for so long is simply because I think they're incredible games. A game like Halo 3, my favorite Halo game, I felt was way ahead of its time. And even today, Halo 3 accomplished things that no other game has. And then a game like Halo Reach had so much to offer. There were many different experiences for the player. And when I look back at these phenomenal Halo games and everything they had to offer, I don't see any other game that compares. Like, if you're a fan of Halo Reach. The campaign experience, the matchmaking experience, the fun custom games, the theater mode, the forge mode, firefight, and everything else in between. What other game compares to that? You see what I'm saying? There really isn't any other game that compares. So it makes complete sense why someone like me who loves Halo and everything it has to offer has stuck with Halo all these years. Because those older Halo games that I love continue to outshine the video games of today.
So 11 years of Halo, and I'm still around. Barely. But the reason why I do stick around is because I've had a long history with Halo. I've been around since CE, since I was a little 7-year-old kid, and I'm still around today, mainly because I guess I'm just hoping that we maybe have a really good, solid Halo game one day, whether it be Infinite or whether it be the next one, or whether or not it dies or not, who knows. But for those that have been around since the golden era of Halo, which was the Halo 3 days online, I feel bad for the ones that went around for that, but those who know that feeling, how good it was to jump online, and Halo was a popular game, everyone loved it. It's all everyone ever talked about at school. Like, it's hard to walk away from that, and we want that feeling again. That's why we stick around. That's why I stick around anyway. I'm hoping that maybe 343 pull their thumbs out their asses and do something with this game. It has so much potential. They've already, fixed up the art style. The Spartans are the best they've ever been, but this game just still falls short in content, and the lack of communication with 343 Industries, it's disappointing, but that's why I'm still around. Another reason why I'm still around is I've put a lot of time and effort into understanding the lore of this. I've read almost all the books, and I plan to buy the new book that's coming out. Yeah, you can't just walk away from that. I feel anyway. I'm still hopeful that maybe we'll see something come of Halo Infinite, but only time will tell, right?
Now, I just want to say I appreciate both of them giving their insights and their opinions on why they stay or why they haven't left or why they come back. And I have to say there's a bit of both of these that I agree with and I can see in myself. The thing for me is that I have so much history with that original trilogy, the original trilogy games, Halos 1, 2, 3, I mean, Halo Wars even, and ODST and Reach. For as much as I, criticize that game, I have so much history with these games that it's hard to just throw that away. It's like Sonic the Hedgehog. And I know this is kind of out there, but I grew up with Sonic the Hedgehog and I loved that franchise for a long time. I still love Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't like a lot of the modern shit, but every once in a while when they make a banger game or some cool piece of content comes out, I'm usually there checking it out because I am a fan, even for the good and bad that the Sonic fandom does have. And there's a lot of bad and a lot of fucking weird people in that community. But the thing is the same thing can be said about Halo. There's a lot of good and bad. When you look at the games that really make this franchise what it is, and you do the same for Sonic, there's few and far between. You look at the early years and they were absolutely great. There was a few bad ones here and there. I mean, Sonic Spinball is one of my least favorite games. But then when they came back and they got it back on track of what Sonic was meant to be, aka Sonic Mania a few years ago, it did well. And now they're refusing to go and follow that trend, even though it was the highest rated Sonic game in nearly a decade. But then you're seeing that kind of same thing happen with Halo, where with Halo, they started to do something right with Halo Infinite, with adding less insane mobility and all these other gimmicks and getting back to the core gameplay and having a few things here and there that people like or dislike, but having a blend of classic and modern, having a blend of these two different types that made both parts of the community happy. But then when you really look at the game, there's just a lack of content because they decided to go games as a service. And if it was any other franchise, we would look at this game and write it off and say, you know what? See this game down the line, don't really pay attention to it, don't really care. If this was a Call of Duty game or a Battlefield game or anything like that, I would write this off and not even give a shit. I wouldn't give it a second look. But it's Halo. It's what we're passionate about. It's not just the multiplayer. It's not just the community for all of its good and bad. It's the universe that's been built through storytelling, through great storytelling in the early days of the early 2000s, but it's also been the characters that we have grown to care about and see change and develop as we've gone through these different storylines. experience. It's the lore that we've learned through extended media, whether that was movies or things like Halo Legends, the amazing animated series, which honestly I wish that they would do another one of, but they never will because Halo doesn't have that clout capital or that popularity anymore. It's the things like the audio novels that they release whenever a new game's coming out that blow people's minds and say, that's good storytelling. But then we see all the bad stuff. We see all the flaws. We see all the mistakes happening, and we wonder what's going on. And I guess my question for this is, why do we keep coming back if this just keeps happening, if it continues to fail? And it's honestly passion. It's a passion for this franchise. It's a passion for this universe, for these characters. I don't have any passion for 343 Industries. I don't have any passion for the people that work there. A lot of the people that work at 343 Industries hate my guts, and I've heard that directly from some members of that studio. But when it comes to Halo, the franchise, the characters, the universe, the lore, the community, in some aspects, I can't just abandon it. I can't just walk away. And it's one of those things that, you know, I've said this. Rony Boney has said this. Scrubsy has said this. That, you know what? I'm ready to call it quits. I'm ready to step away. Yet we always come back, whether it's a few months down the line or a few years. But that's where I have to ask you guys the same exact question. After nearly 11 years of 343 continuing to fail over and over again with Halo, why do you keep coming back? Let me know down in the comment section down below. I would love to hear your guys' opinions. I would love to hear your guys' takes. Let me know down in the comment section down below. And if you're down there, go ahead and leave a like on this video or go ahead and leave a dislike. It doesn't bother me either way. And I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. This is one that I've been kind of rolling around in my mind for the past few days, and it's one that I personally wanted to try and see an answer to. And what was great about it is that I told both Scrubsy and PopQ to answer this question, and I decided that I wasn't going to listen to the answers until I recorded this audio, because I wanted to hear their answers first, and then after I already had recorded mine, so that way it wasn't misconstrued or anything like that. So it was honestly really good to hear different perspectives. I would love to hear yours. You can either make a response video to this or leave a comment down in the comment section down below. Either way, I would love to hear it. I'll see you guys next time. GamerJlee signing out.